Live from our studio in Springfield, you're watching News Channel 20 at 5.
This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
It's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people.
And tonight, Americans on edge. Almost 24 hours later, voters still don't know who the next president will be. We break down the problems and drama surrounding the race. Plus, holding on to relief funds, why city leaders say they have yet to give a single penny of hundreds of thousands of dollars in relief funds to any Springfield businesses. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Hansen.
And I'm Stacey Skryzak. There is no winner yet in this historic presidential election.
Very emotional day. A handful of states still counting ballots, and they may be going on for some time.
The very latest number puts Democratic candidate Joe Biden in the lead with 248 electoral votes. Now, the winner needs 270 to win.
And in the meantime, the election is facing some potential legal challenges and fights over which ballots should count depending on when they arrive.
Yeah, in fact, President Trump's team says it will sue in Michigan to stop the count because they claim they haven't been able to monitor the process.
Our St. Clair's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman shows us the latest critical developments.
All those yellow vests, workers in Pennsylvania counting ballots well into Wednesday morning. Same in Michigan, likewise in Wisconsin. But also work being done by countless attorneys, possibly with eyes on the Supreme Court after President Trump alleged fraud and threatening to take his case to the high court. Joe Biden's team ready to counter. The Supreme Court has already weighed in, declining Republican requests to intervene with Pennsylvania's process of allowing mail-in ballots through Friday, as long as they were postmarked by Election Day.
The beneficiary of mail-in voting is Joe Biden. From the very beginning, Democrats have been committed to mail-in voting. Republicans have been downplaying it and skeptical of it. Partly, I think the Biden campaign made a tactical decision early on. They thought people would be afraid to go and vote in person. Turned out that wasn't the case.
Maybe a reason that President Trump said in the overnight hours the voting should stop.
The president really does not have a legal leg to stand on. I don't see plausible legal claims. That doesn't mean the Trump campaign can't go into court with implausible, even frivolous claims, and it may take some number of days to sift through that for judges to work through that.
As if that weren't complicated enough, the president's team announced Wednesday it's now demanding a recount in Wisconsin, citing irregularities that raise, quote, serious doubts. Meanwhile, if you've heard people use the phrase a red mirage, this is what they're talking about, that in-person election day voting gives Republicans a noteworthy lead in some states. But as those mail-in ballots are collected and tabulated, that advantage simply disappears, and you see the difference, although still too early to tell if that's happening in some areas. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
Now, breaking news just into our newsroom. Democratic candidate Joe Biden will win the state of Michigan. This gives Biden another 16 electoral votes. The winner, as we mentioned, needs 270. Currently, President Donald Trump sits at 214 electoral votes.
And now all this, it brings us to our question of the day. Do you think that the courts will decide the outcome of this presidential election? Go to newschannel20.com, click on question of the day under the features tab to weigh in.
The race for the 13th congressional seat is over, with Republican incumbent Rodney Davis beating Democrat Betsy Dirksen-Londrigan with 55% of the votes. Now, this was her second time challenging Davis for the seat. News Channel 20's Noelle Ford joins us with Londrigan's reaction to the election results.
Betsy Dirksen-Londrigan gave her remarks virtually after losing to Republican incumbent Rodney Davis, first congratulating Davis on his victory. Londrigan saying while the results weren't what she and her campaign hoped for, this was always going to be a tough race, and she's thankful for the campaign her staff and volunteers ran.
I could not be more proud of the campaign that we ran, the issues we've addressed, and the effort we've put into reaching out to voters in every corner of Central Illinois.
Londrigan also reminding people to stay engaged even after Election Day is over, and is still strong about her support for lowering health care costs and the Affordable Care Act. And she says we all need to work together to create a better Central Illinois, whether someone casts their vote for her or Representative Davis. In the newsroom, Noelle Ford, back to you.
Thank you, Noel. Now moving on from Lonergan, her opponent, Republican incumbent Rodney Davis, winning that 13th congressional district once again. Now Davis made a speech late last night on that victory and says that this win is bigger than just this one race.
You saw a surge in areas that were supporting the president, and that surge actually helped me. I'd like to think that we helped each other.
Well, continuing our Vote 2020 coverage, one Illinois county has approved a measure that would separate themselves from Illinois, making them their own state. Our Marcella Baedo joins us now in studio to explain.
Stacey, Hancock County voters overwhelmingly approved a measure to separate from the state of Illinois and form its very own state. Now, the measure passed with more than 4,000 votes going to the yes and 1,400 votes going no. Hancock County isn't alone, though. Counties in other parts of Illinois did the same thing as well. A group called New Illinois visited those counties last month to rally support for this. They argue that most of the political and economic decisions made in the state are solely based on needs in the Chicago area and aren't in line with the needs of downstate Illinois. Now, some political experts say the fundamental issue right here is the clash between rural and urban communities. In the studio, Marcel Baedo, John Stacey, back to you.
Thanks, Marcel. Well, turning to the path forward happening right now, here's a live look outside of Springfield City Council, where residents and business owners rallying to keep bars and restaurants' dining rooms open. The rally is asking those participating to wear masks. Now, organizers hope that this will give residents a chance for their voices to be heard before the council meets. And that rally, it comes after the city of Springfield and the Sangamon County Health Department released new mitigations for restaurants and bars, all in hopes to keep those doors open despite orders from Governor J.B. Pritzker. News Channel 20's Alyssa Hui joining us live and sharing how this plan will play out and whether or not there's support behind it. Alyssa?
John, while there are stricter requirements in place for restaurants and bars, the plan is to keep indoor dining services open. And local restaurant owners that I spoke to say they are in support of this, but they also want to follow health guidelines from the state. The city's plan to keep restaurants open with certain requirements is getting support from local business owners, but some say they feel the need to follow orders from the state.
Will not be doing indoor dining. I think it would be great if the governor and the mayor could come to an agreement, and we'd be interested in following that.
Health experts say while COVID-19 cases are on the rise in Sangamon County, they're hoping with stricter mitigations, these numbers can change while keeping businesses up and running.
Hopefully we'll see a bit of a turnaround, and hopefully in a big way. We're willing to take, give it 2 more weeks to see if things could turn around. And
other medical professionals advising the city say if indoor dining services remain open with restrictions, they have to see a drastic change in numbers for the plan to still stand.
I think the restaurants and the other indoor dining facilities have 2 weeks to prove that it's safe.
O'Neill says they're going to continue tracking the positivity rate, but if cases continue to rise, they will reevaluate with the city on whether or not to close indoor dining in 2 weeks.
If nothing changes, it's not effective, and we, obviously need to embrace the mitigation, as painful as it is for a big segment of our community.
But if bars and restaurants can't have indoor dining, some owners say they will find other ways to continue their services.
They do go back and completely shut down the indoor dining for a period of time. We'll continue with the curbside and carry out.
Indoor dining at restaurants and bars will remain open with new restrictions, but if COVID-19 cases continue to go in the wrong direction for the next 2 weeks, that can change. Reporting live in Springfield, Alyssa Hui, News Channel 20.
Thanks, Alyssa. As you saw, a lot of people out there protesting tonight with signs saying, "Let us work, why us?" Now, we're going to have more coverage on this City Council meeting and this topic tonight on News Channel 20 at 10.
Well, no complaints about today's weather, as it was pretty nice for a November day. And right now we still have a mix of clouds and sunshine out there, and our current temperature is 69. Through the rest of the evening hours, temperatures will slip through the 60s on into the 50s, so not too bad for tonight. Then looking ahead for tomorrow, should be a great day to maybe get caught up with some yard work, maybe raking the leaves or mowing the lawn tomorrow. 58 degrees around 9 o'clock, then lots of sunshine with highs again topping out in the 70s for tomorrow. Coming up, I'll let you know how long this mild weather plans to stick around, though. We'll have a complete check of your storm team forecast in just a bit.
Coming up next on News Channel 20 at 5, COVID-19 continues to spread across the nation. A look at the latest numbers here in Illinois.
Plus, still no relief funds for Springfield small businesses from the city. Local officials will weigh in. Welcome back. In your Capital City Watch tonight. To date, the city of Springfield has yet to distribute a single penny in relief funds for small businesses across the city. News Channel 20's Jacob Emerson has more on why the city hasn't given out the funds and reactions from other lawmakers. Jacob?
John, last week, News Channel 20 was the first to report that none of Springfield's small business relief grants have gone out to business owners. Today, local leaders were speaking out. Republican State Representative for Springfield Tim Butler weighed in on the issue on Wednesday. He says the relief grants are crucial to small businesses trying to stay afloat amid the lingering economic impact of COVID-19. He also says there's no excuse for the current situation.
There's really no reason why any governmental entity should be holding up funding. We need to make sure that this stuff gets done.
Representative Butler urged Mayor Langfelder to begin the process of distributing those small business funds. And now I reached out to the city's Office of Planning and Economic Development, who oversee those funds. I'm told they are still working on creating an application and distribution process. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Jacob Emerson. John.
Thanks, Jacob. We'll continue to follow the story. Now, there's $200,000 in those small business relief funds. Springfield businesses can apply for up to $5,000 each. Well, still ahead, a COVID-19 update. We break down the latest numbers for the state.
In tonight's coronavirus update, state health officials reporting 55 new deaths from COVID-19 today. The total now nearing 10,000. There are more than 7,500 new cases, bringing that total to more than 437,000. More than 8 million have been tested. Sangamon County health officials report 178 new cases of COVID-19. Now, this update, it reflects a two-day total. Officials are reporting 2 new deaths, bringing the total to 69. More than 2,700 have recovered.
Well, new information in our Project Illinois investigation into the Department of Employment Security. Some new numbers that we just obtained show that the call volume that IDES experienced this year is more than 15 times higher than last year. News Channel 20's Matt Roy joining us now with more on what these new findings mean. Matt?
John, Stacy, the pandemic caused a sea of people to call IDES hundreds of times a day just to try and get their unemployment benefits. From January 1st to October 13, 2019, the IDES call center received just over 5.5 million calls. During that same time frame in 2020, the department took more than 86 million inbound calls. Representative Tim Butler says despite the ridiculous number of calls, the department should have been prepared to receive them and do their jobs.
I realize the crush of people that's coming in, but that doesn't stop the state from its duty of, working with these people and talking to these people.
Butler says the amount of calls isn't surprising, but it is sad that this is still an issue. Tonight on News Channel 20 at 6, I talk to local representatives and get their take on the numbers, plus we hear from IDES themselves. That's all tonight on News Channel 20 at 6. But for now in Springfield, I'm Matt Roy. Back to you, Stacey and John.
All right, thank you, Matt. The department implemented the $22 million callback system back in July as a temporary solution to handle that high number of calls.
Now, your Storm Team weather with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke.
Another exceptionally warm day here across central Illinois with our highs well into the 70s. We've been seeing temperatures anywhere from 10 to about 15 degrees above average. And I hope you like these mild temperatures because they will certainly be lasting for the next few days. Looking ahead for Thursday, we'll see lots of sunshine building back in and our highs easily climbing back into the 70s. So it should be a picture-perfect day to get out and about, maybe going for a jog around the neighborhood or going for a walk. No weather issues whatsoever. As we look ahead then, our weather patterns are going to be very quiet across the region. We've got high pressure right now building in across the region. That's going to be the dominant weather feature for the next few days. However, the only exception, there's a little weak disturbance working its way across the region right now. That's why we've had a few extra clouds, but for the most part, still lots of sunshine to be found across the region for the next several days. So if you're hoping for some rain, that's simply not going to be in the cards. We'll keep the weather high and dry through the weekend on into Monday, but then early next week, we'll be tracking our next weather maker, a storm system that's going to be coming in on Tuesday. So tracking this out for you for Monday, still looking for increasing clouds, but still no rain, at least for Monday. Come Tuesday morning, though, the clouds will eventually give way to some rain showers. Here we're stopping the clock around 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. Rain showers developing across the region. More scattered showers, perhaps a few rumbles of thunder too, Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. Then the system pulls away. We'll see some drier skies, though, returning for Wednesday. But also, too, in the wake of that weather system, it will be turning much cooler. So enjoy the warmth while it lasts, because these 70s, again, will be very, very limited. Our forecast for tonight calling for mostly cloudy skies, lows bottoming out near 52. Tomorrow, a delightful day, mostly sunny with highs near 72. And our 7-day planner, sponsored by HS St. John's Hospital, shows the mild 70s through the weekend on into Monday. By Tuesday, there's our next weather maker bringing some rain showers. And by Wednesday for Veterans Day, it will be turning much cooler, dropping to the 50s for Wednesday.
Coming up, how a program is helping students continue to grow when they're expelled from school.
Segment is sponsored by CEFCU and HSHS St. John's Hospital.
Well, it's never a good thing when a student is expelled from school, but as Justin Carter tells us, when they leave Jacksonville's Crossroads Learning Center, they leave better.
When a student is suspended or even worse, expelled, home is usually the only option, but not for Jacksonville high school students.
The parents choose to send the students here because we support the student with social emotional learning, and we also give them some opportunity to get their homework made up before they return to their home school.
Principal Jill Dillard built the Crossroads Learning Center program from the ground up nearly 5 years ago.
Any student who might bring a weapon or might be found with drugs or cause serious bodily injury to another student and has a special education IEP can spend their 45-day placement with us.
A second chance. It's not normal school though. No cell phones allowed, a smaller classroom environment, and that one-on-one attention, Dillard says, is key.
We do develop those relationships with these students that have not a lot of times had the opportunity to have somebody who really connects with them.
A different program housed in the same building is known as TAP, or Traditional Adult Program.
They could learn skills so that they could be independent or as independent as possible.
Skills useful in everyday life. A mock bedroom, for example, they're assigned to clean every day. There's a kitchen for cooking, a classroom to learn in, a common space even to encourage social interactions. Coming soon, too, a new lab room.
It's going to offer the students of TAP opportunities to learn over 200 potential job-related skills that will make them more marketable when they leave us.
Both Crossroads and TAP available to all students and young adults within the Jacksonville School District limits.
Now, the principal says in a typical school year, Crossroads serves about 15 expelled students and up to 25 suspended students at a time. As we head to break, let's take a live look over the capital city thanks to the HSHS St. John's Hospital Tower camera. One final check of the forecast when we come back.
I think we hit the weather jackpot as we'll be enjoying a good dose of sunshine and some very mild temperatures the next few days, with highs easily back into the 70s for the rest of the week through the upcoming weekend. Enjoy the nice weather though while it lasts, because by Tuesday, tracking our next weather maker bringing some rain showers, and by Wednesday for Veterans Day, it's back to reality. We'll be cooling back into the 50s.
I just can't believe it's Veterans Day next week. So
I know, time's flying.
Yeah. World News is next.
And we'll see you right back here at 6.